Today I am bringing you a TBR styled video, even though I don't really do TBRs. It is more of a long-term TBR goal challenge thing. And I'm going to be talking about books I want to reread. There are quite a few of them that I think I need to read again because I loved them or I wanted to give them a second chance, so I have a selection that I want to reread. Some of them are more pressing than others, and some of them are just books that one day I would like to get to. So the first two are kind of lower tiered on my reread list, but they're also the ones I want to reread the soonest because they have final books coming out and I want to be ready for them. So the first one is Half Bad and Half Wild by Sally Green. Whenever I put this up I feel like such a traitor because I hated this book so much, but Half Wild was so good that I think I need to go back through Half Bad and enjoy it and see if I can get myself to like it a second time around, because it just seems strange to me that I gave this one 2 stars but the next one I gave 4.5 stars. So I want to reread this in like February before Half Lost comes out because I'm definitely going to be picking that up. So we shall see. Next up we have a one that has also got a sequel coming out in April, and that is The Raven Boys, The Dream Thieves and Blue Lily Lily Blue by Maggie Stiefvater. I need to reread this series. It's just so beautiful that I could just love it all over again, and I want to just make sure that when I get to The Raven King it's going to be phenomenal, because I read Blue Lily Lily Blue last January and it's going to have been, 14 months since I've involved myself in this world when the sequel comes out, so I want to give it another go and just love it all over again. So we'll see. In a similar vein but not quite the same vein, I want to read City of Heavenly Fire before Lady Midnight comes out, because I reread the first 5 books in the Mortal Instruments, but I didn't read this one because I knew Lady Midnight was coming out soon, so I thought I'd read this one then go straight to Lady Midnight. So that's something I really want to do. Obviously this book is a mammoth, so that's a bit of a commitment to reread this one book before going into a new one, but I think it will be worth it. So I do have City of Heavenly Fire to reread. Next up we have one that I mentioned in my fantasy recommendations, and that is The Inheritance Cycle by Christopher Paolini. I own all 4 books, I have read all 4 books, but it's been about, when did the last one come out? 2011, 12, 11? No, 9, 10, 2010 maybe? It was when I was in year 10, so that was almost 6 years ago when I finished reading the series. So I want to give another go because I do love my high fantasy, and it follows a young boy who discovers a dragon egg, and there's dragons, and it's really cool. There's dragons and magic, and I want to give it another go, see what I think. Next up we have 2 series that are kind of just all-time favourites that I need to reread and see how I look on them with a fresh eye. And that is Harry Potter and Percy Jackson. If you didn't know, this one is my favourite series of all time. The Percy Jackson the Olympian series made my childhood personally. I know a lot of people say Harry Potter made theirs, and yes, Harry Potter played a large role, but the Percy Jackson books were just, they defined my childhood. I loved them. Loved them so much. I could reread them forever, and I plan to reread the whole series soon. I reread the first 2 in 2014, and I really enjoyed them then, so I just need to finish it, finish the rest of the series, and possibly reread the Heroes of Olympus as well, because Trials of Apollo are coming out soon, but I'm not going to be rereading 10 books before then. So this one may have to go on slightly later, but at some point in the future I'm going to be rereading this series. And Harry Potter, I kept telling myself I was going to reread it, but I've never got round to doing it, so I need to reread it. This is like me telling myself in the future, if I come back to this video, reread Harry Potter, Jonathan, because you loved it once, and you may have slightly, not be as in love with it as you once were, so you need to rekindle that spark. So, Harry Potter. Another series I'm going to reread, which is much more of a casual goal, and that is The Kane Chronicles, of course, by Rick Riordan, because I got these new editions for my birthday, so I want to read these editions. It's the only reason I want to reread it, and it's really, 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 really good. That's another reason, and it follows brother and sister Carter and Sadie, and they have magic and become hosts to Egyptian gods, so what's not to like? It's amazing, and I can't wait. Other ones I'm not going to show up, but kind of just casually mention in books that I would like to reread, but they aren't as, like, pressing as some of these, or, like, they're even less than casual. It's just something I might do in the future, and that's, like, Ready Player One. I want to reread it. One day I will reread it, I think. The Gone series, probably will reread at some point. And then Openly Straight by Bill Konigsberg, because the sequel to that's coming out soon, well, in September, so I need to reread that book because it was so good. So that is my rereadings TBR. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will have another one up soon. So,